Hey guys, so we just want to make a quick little video here about multifamily apartment complexes and how you can utilize these in a retirement plan. So what we're going to do is do a couple different videos on multifamily investing. We're going to do some in terms of how it works and how you can use it to leverage your money. This one in particular is in terms of retirement plan. So if you're someone who has money to put into something, whether it be a multifamily or the stock market or whatever, let's go through a little bit of why the multifamily residential makes sense as a long-term play for a retirement plan. So Chris and I were just looking at a property in the area. What we're going to do is go over some of the numbers of that property and see if it makes sense in terms of why this is a smart play. So the property we looked at was worth $400,000. So the purchase price is $400,000. So on a $400,000 property, let's assume you're going to put $100,000 as a down payment. So we have $100,000 as a down payment. Okay. So the other things we're going to assume, like this property that we looked at, happened to have a 7% cash on cash return, 7% cap rate. So 7% was the return on investment. And we're going to assume, for the sake of this conversation, a 20-year fixed loan that you're going to have for this property. So we're going to have a 20-year, we're going to have to get a new marker, 20-year loan on this property. And with that, this example here, on 7% of this $100,000 gives you $7,000 return in cash flow, right? So the 7% cap rate that we're getting is after all the expenses are paid. So what that number is in cash flow is whatever amount of money you have in rent of your property, and then you deduct all of the expenses off of that, and then the cash flow is what's left after. So that's after all of your fixed expenses, that's after property taxes, insurance, water, sewer, blah, blah, blah. That's all paid for already. So this is cash flow, $7,000 per year. So this is $7,000 per year. So on a 20-year loan at $7,000 per year, let's talk about how you would make your money back off of that. The first avenue that you do that is the actual value of the property. So you put $100,000 down on a $400,000 property, 20-year loan. So your 20 years from now, your $100,000 has now turned into the complete value of the property. So before we talk appreciation, that's an additional $300,000 in equity that you built over 20 years that was paid for by the renters. You put in 100, 20 years later, you had the full 400 value because they were paying your mortgage each month. So you started with 100,000 down, and after 20 years, that $400,000 property is now paid in full. So you went from 100 over to you gained, $300,000, is a little bit crude, over 20 years on the value of the property, okay? Now the second portion